So once I went off to college, I was very determined to kind of break away, not from God or anything, but like break away from just like the way of thinking in my household. Because obviously, I told you, I lived with like a billion different people. I'd grown up in the church, and I was very sheltered. Like, I was very much sheltered. Up until middle school, I didn't even listen to any kind of, nope, not even in middle school. I didn't even listen to any kind of secular music. Like, I was very, very sheltered. And so when I went to college, I made it a point of like really trying to branch out, trying to heal whatever was broken, because I knew I wanted a friend. I think that was like the main thing. I knew I wanted a friend, and I want like a real friend, because before there had just been, friends that like I personally couldn't let myself connect with, just because I was scared of being vulnerable, and I didn't think that anybody could really understand or relate or whatever. So one of my main goals of going to college, or when going to college, was finding a friend. And shout out to God, because I went to college for free because I wouldn't have been able to go otherwise, because like I told you, we were broke. So one of the main things that I wanted to accomplish through college was finding someone that I could actually trust, and being open and being vulnerable. So little did I know that when I went to college, my mom was going to decide that she sorry, it's not funny. It's actually not funny. So let me back up. So right before I left for college, right before I left for college, my mom had met this man at the church, and like they were talking or whatever the case may be, and me being the person that I detested him, but they seemed to be like going further and further along in their relationship. So I go off to college, and it ends up being like, okay, this is about to sound so crazy, but like I'm in my dorm room. I remember this. I'm in my dorm room, and I get a text message from my mom. And I wonder if I still have the screenshot, because I screenshotted it. But I get a text message from my mom, and it's like, oh, hi, Joy, I got married. And so a little bit of backstory. So, like I said before, my mom was very involved in the church. She was very much, very much put her all on the line. But I personally feel like she never got a chance to grow up, because she had her first child very, very young. And because she had her first child very, very young, she was a kid raising a kid, right? So after that, like, she was just, growing up and raising children for like the rest of her life, basically. And so she never really like had a chance to heal or to grow or to learn about herself in a way. And then, from a very early age, I think she was like 22 when she started being an armor bearer or an assistant to the pastor. So she was very much like always very always had a lot of things going on, and always just working to the bone, working hard, very hard. So she was all those things, but she was also, I believe, dealing with mental things. And because of that, it kind of made it a little bit more difficult for us as kids to kind of navigate life. And I feel like as we got older, it started to present itself a little bit more, and it started to really come to light a little bit more. And because of that, it was kind of harder for her to operate in the same way that she used to go and be the same person that she used to, because we're kids, so we're like questioning and challenging and things like that now. So I feel like that was also very difficult. And of course, we were in the church, and in a household, and in a black household, in a black church, and of course you're saying like what happens in the house stays in the house. So we're trying to bring it up in the most respectful way to other people, like, no, like, sometimes she lies and on us, and or sometimes this is not happening, or like things like that. But like, people weren't believing us because she was really dedicated in the church, and she really was. So I think as we got older though, and I just think like she was growing tired and wasn't able to kind of fight the mental battles as much, and so because of that, the exterior started to crack a little bit. So other people began to see like what we had been seeing. And so fast forward, I'm at college in freshman year, and she sends me the text of like, hey, I got married. And I was like, ugh, like disgusting. But sorry, my head is really itchy. But anyways, so, when she got married, my brothers and her went to live with her husband. And then that maybe lasted for like some months. And then about maybe like my sophomore year, I'm skipping stuff, sorry. In that time of the year, like things were getting worse and worse. Like she was really going through it. And then it became my sophomore year. And in my sophomore year, I remember I was in an apartment with my friends. We had got an apartment together, and my sister called me, and she was like, yeah, so mom left. And I was like, what you mean by left? Like, what are you talking about? She was like, yeah, she left. I was like, left where? But basically, my mom had decided that she was, done raising children. So she dropped off my brothers back by where we were, and then, where they were, because I was still at school. And she just went away. So that happened. And honestly, I feel like when that happened, that was very much like a very niche experience, because I think it's one thing for like your parents to die, but it's another thing for like your parents to still be alive, and who they are and they know who you are. Like, it's not adoption either, because it's not like she like dropped us off when we were babies, but like we're very well aware of who each other are, who each of us are, and to just be like, okay, bye. Because, I mean, I was of age of 19, but, like, my brothers were still minors. So, that was, that was very interesting. So, that happened, and then that kind of just set everything else amok of, like, trying to figure out how are we gonna, like, keep the boys, because obviously we didn't want them to go into foster care or anything like that. So trying to figure out about the boys and like what to do. And meanwhile, I'm at school. I'm like, okay. And because I hadn't spoken to her, so I had no idea. So that was a very interesting thing. And this is all while I'm at school, and I'm like, okay, this is my new beginning. Like, I'm trying to heal. Like, this is gonna be great. Like, I'm gonna make friends. So me trying to be open, I go and I tell like the girls that I'm living with, I'm like, hey, so and mind you, in hindsight, I probably shouldn't have done that, but I was just really trying to be open at this time. But I was like, hey, yeah, so my mom just left my family, my sister just called, and yeah, my mom just left my family. So I'm like, how do you explain that? I don't know. How do you explain that? Because I don't know. So that happened in college. So then I feel like that kind of, I won't say altered my brain chemistry, but that really did kind of shift things, because, and I feel like it still does shift things now, because like you just don't know how much in life like you need a mom. And I felt really like, okay, well, not bad in a sense, but kind of like, at least I was able to be in college, and like I was 19, so I was able to be an adult. Like, my brothers were still very young, so I'm like I can't complain too much, because at least I was an adult already. But you just don't realize like how important it is to have parents, number one, and to have like a mom when you're like when you're growing up, when you're becoming a woman. Like, here I am, not 26 yet, 25, 6 years later, but still, there's still some time to like, dang, it would have been really nice to have a mom right now. Like, I just want to talk to her about certain things. So I feel like that definitely shifted a lot, and it was even a harder shift because I was in a time where I was trying to grow and trying to be open, and then that bomb just happened. So yeah,